Greetings and welcome to another Battle of the Dunes experience for 2017, where the competition is fierce and the competitors usually end up with sand in strange places. The battle began at Lobeville, where the contestants went to drop their luggage and come to terms with the luxurious and romantic accommodation. With the romantic mood set, it was time to prepare the vehicles for the trip. The customary tire pressure exercise was performed, and Van de Toy gave his usual explanation.
I'm deflating the tires to 0.7, most probably 0.6, getting ready for loose sand and for the Battle of the Dunes.
But the sound of hissing tires was interrupted by the sound of a Nissan Patrol bonnet opening. Like a cackle of hyenas, the competitors gathered to stare at whatever ailment the 4x4 was suffering from. Imagine their surprise when Fan revealed that he wasn't actually fixing, but bragging about a supercharger of all things.
This is my famous supercharger. Gives me an extra 2,000 revs.
Interesting strategy, Fan. Intimidate your competitors before the battle even starts. We'll see if this strategy paid out in the end. With Fan leading the pack, the herd of 4x4s hit the sand. As always, the competitors started slowly over easy terrain, if only to get to grips with the idea of driving on a very loose surface. But before we move on to the really tough stuff, let's meet our first 6 competitors in this episode. First, we have Andre Brains and Marcel Kutsia in a Nissan Patrol. This standard Patrol will have its work cut out going up against the other powerhouse cars. Next up is Vessel Duplessis and Helene Fenter, piloting a Nissan Navara. Will this double cab have what it takes to conquer these dunes? Here is the de Toy family, Fan, Francois, Bianca and Eli. In their supercharged, in case you forgot, yes, their supercharged Nissan, which also makes a rather nice noise when it's tapped flat. Ricardo and Adriano Gouveia are joined by Matthew Erstelo in a Jeep Wrangler. Can Team Wrangler show the desert who's boss? Leon Gregory and Johan Hatting brought a Toyota Prado V6. With all those petrol-powered horses under Leon's right foot, this team should impress their rivals. The Hendricks family, Hannes, Mia and Lizelle, also brought a double cab to the game, a Toyota Hilux. Jacques from Yuri Adventures was the main guide, and with this large group of competitors, he laid down the golden rule of dune driving: straight up and straight down. Without further ado then, let's meet the rest of the teams. Piet Human and Helena Riedelinghuis brought a legend to this battle. Normally found on the streets and parking lots of Sandton, it was refreshing to see an AMG G-Wagon in its supposed natural habitat. It obviously had the necessary power for this trip. Donnie Kuhn and Marlise Vierpener also brought a semi-legend to the fight. The FJ is well known for its powerful V6 engine, which Donnie wasn't afraid to rev hard. Yet another Hilux, this time with Hugo Laubser and Brenda Freilink in the front. This extra cab is the underdog in this competition. The third patrol belonged to Lion and Riette Pretorius. This too is a normally aspirated Nissan. Finally, the Smith family, consisting of Ruben, Chris, Ida and Vian, and they're rounding up the Toyota range with their 4-litre V6 Fortuner. Heading to the first challenge, Werner illustrated the correct line. After carving out the perfect route, it was time for the battle to commence. First up, Hugo and Brenda. This couple started out confidently, but nearly lost their way. Brenda's comments required multiple bleeps, But in the end, she complimented Hugo on his magnificent attempt. Wessel thought a lion's flag would give him an added advantage. Let's see. That would be a no. Perhaps if he had the entire Lions team pushing him from behind, it would have ended differently. The second attempt proved futile. The problem seemed to be the Tiptronic gearbox.
The problem is if you put it in Tiptronic, it goes through its gears like normal when it's in drive. And it should not, it should stay in a gear so you can keep the revs up. And it doesn't, it just goes through the revs.
After all that, it's time to head to the shops. After the break, more sand action. Welcome back. Hannes had the Stormers flag on his side. Perhaps these flags are adding too much weight and bogging the cars down. Because the Hilux bogged down in almost the exact same spot. Now for the second attempt. And nope. Would the third attempt be a charm? Lucky number 3 for Hannes. Well done, Hannes. And the Stormers. Chris and the family Smith put on their serious faces. But that strategy didn't pan out. However, the seriousness worked the second time round.
Lion and Riette were next to set off, and failed once.
Twice. And thrice. On the fourth try, however, they made it all the way.
Farn and Eli
Couldn't decide which flag to go with. See, while Farn is an avid Bulls man, Eli is Stormers all the way. Would two opposing sides result in a successful attempt? Farn was hesitant due to the other competitors having dug a hole in a tricky portion of the obstacle. It seems as if Farn succeeded, but with all that revving and sand slinging, they actually lost their way. It counted as a fail. Pete and Helena followed the supercharged patrol's impressive performance by aiming their bi-turbo AMG at the top of the dune. The last bit of sand proved to be too much, even for a car with 350 odd kilowatts. Attempt 2. The second attempt went much better. Meanwhile, on the other side of the dune, Farn was dealing with a slight issue. His super enthusiastic approach to hitting the rev limiter resulted in the tyre slipping from the rim. But luckily, the team behind the battle is well equipped to handle such matters. Ricky and Matthew went next. The Wrangler should go well here. No. And Ricky expresses his view of that attempt.
What the is that?
What a sand show.
The second attempt went much better, but the Wrangler crew weren't out of the woods just yet, as both Ricky and Matthew struggled to remember which side to go once they successfully made it over the dune.
There.
Okay, but now where do we go?
Just go to the left.
Oh, down there.
Yeah. Look to the track there, down. And here's where you have to come up to the left.
Okay, then I must take the front thing off.
Ricky also forgot that the technical term for front thing is actually diff lock. Eventually, the guys made it through. Donnie and Marliza and the FJ were up next. Marliza wondered about window strategy, while Donnie went for a Miami Vice look with one arm out of the window. It seems both their strategies failed.
On their second attempt, Team FJ make it up. Well done, Donnie.
Andre and Marcel were representing the Sharks. Very odd considering the terrain, but nevertheless.
This normally aspirated patrol makes the obstacle look easy.
Leon and Gregory brought up the rear, looking as relaxed as ever. They carried a lot of speed up the first dune, but the Prado overshot the mark and bogged down.
Attempt 2. They got over. Well done, lads.
After a very long, hot day, it was time to head home, which always proves to be an even tougher challenge for some. Team Wrangler really made this pile of sand home. After multiple attempts, the Wrangler made it over. Then the seemingly impossible happened. The raucous AMG got itself stuck on a flat piece of desert. So what do you do when the most powerful car in the lineup digs itself in? You use a supercharged patrol, of course. Fawn was more than happy to lend a helping hand, which we have no doubt will make for an awesome Bryce story in the future. If the competitors thought the previous day was tough, the views soon made it seem like child's play. From the front of a Wrangler, the dune seemed ridiculously daunting. That wasn't going to be easy. For this obstacle, the drivers were lined up at the base of the dune. For every failed attempt, the start line was moved 2 meters away from the dune, giving the competitors more of a run at the dune.
Lion and Riette went first,
showcasing just how tough it would be. There's very little room to work up enough momentum, so just a slight hesitation or botched gear change would result in failure. With the additional 2 meters of run-up,
Lion set off.
and makes it majestically over the dune. After that first performance, you'd think a diesel Hilux has no chance, but Hannes' expert driving took him all the way. Chris was next on the starting block. And he gave the 4-litre Fortuner some serious stick, but it was not to be. With another 2 meters added, the Fortuner performed admirably. Vessel had some complaints about his Navara's power before. But the car did him proud over this obstacle.
Hugo and Brenda were next to go.
With Hugo's expert driving and his Hilux, he made it up and over the top without a single hiccup. Brenda was impressed, and rightly so, and she provided a better compliment than anything we could ever come up with. Andre gave it his best for the first attempt. The extra 2 meters provided by the second starting line proved to be necessary, and Andre and Marcel made it through. It's time to head to the shops. After the break, more sand action.
Ricky was next up.
But had to reverse back for a second attempt. Unfortunately, he forgot to disengage reverse and earned himself the dunce cap for that error. With de-engaged, Ricky set off. Team Wrangler made it look easy. Everyone was interested to see whether the most powerful car would make it from the first starting line. So Pete gave it some stick and gave us the answer: no. From
2 meters further back, the AMG powered it up and over. Great job, Pete.
If anyone could make it on the first attempt, it was going to be Farn in the supercharged patrol. He made a lot of noise, but it was not to be.
But all Farn needed was the extra 2 meters, and he made it look easy this time. Donny made it look easy, and Team FJ sailed up the loose sand heap.
Team Prado were up next, and not enough momentum, but at least found humor in the situation. The second attempt went much better, and they conquered the obstacle and celebrated accordingly. With that settled, it was time for lunch. JP served up some delicious Tafel Light-inspired delicacies. To make it, simply cut and devein the pre-cooked lobster. Place it in a dish with spice and salt and pepper to taste. Add a can of Tafel Light, place on the fire for 5 minutes, and enjoy. The competitors seemed suitably impressed. It was now time for the coolest challenge, which possibly the most fun yet the most irrelevant test of them all, the drag race. The diesels went first. It was a victory for Hugo and his Hilux, the second victory of the day. The petrol-powered vehicles were up next. The brute force won again. Supercharging a patrol seems like a grand idea all of a sudden. With the adrenaline pumping, the drivers set off to the next obstacle. And with the Jeep's tail between its legs, Werner marked the way for his challenge. Lion and his patrol were up first. So close, but not enough oomph to make it up and over. Andre set off at a blistering pace. And with that amount of momentum, he makes it up and over. Well done, Team Patrol, even without a supercharger. Ricky tried it next. After an unsuccessful first attempt, there was much discussion.
I should have geared down.
Slowly down.
Team Fortuna were next, and Ruben was surprised by his dad's newfound aggression. They hit the bottom of the dune hard, which resulted in a massive loss of momentum. Donny was last to go. Hitting the base of the dune hard, dislodging his neat dash accessory, and almost making it up. Well done, Donny.
Wat bedoel ik verkeerd?
After 3 days of hard driving, fierce challenges and many bleeps, it was time to hand out some prizes. Choosing a winner would be difficult. Previous winner of Battle of the Dunes, Van de Toy, and event organizer Werner Skarp handed out the prizes. Third place went to Andre and Marcel, winning a 40-litre fridge freezer from Snowmaster. Second place was awarded to Donnie and Marlisa, bagging a set of adjustable Tough Dog shocks. A well-deserved first place went to Hugo and Brenda, who won a 56-litre double-door fridge freezer, also from Snowmaster. Next time on Battle of the Dunes, we have yet another smorgasbord of vehicles and contestants. Till then, see ya!